What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. So, y'all, I am now integrating everything from my main channel over here when it comes to courts, arbitration, debt, credit, eviction stuff, right? That's what I'm doing for right now. Everything is going to be over here. So, y'all, let me give y'all the latest on my LVNV case. Okay, so LVNV has sued me, right? Um, for a debt. At the time, this was last year, July. It was July 3rd of 2025. I was just getting into this course, y'all. If I have a story on my main channel that I had told on how why I feel like this even happened this way. I feel like God was really challenging me. You know, like when you ask something, when you ask God for something, He gonna give it to you, but just not. It's not just gonna fall into your lap. It's gonna be here, boom, and you gonna figure out the lesson within it. Like it's going to be something you can achieve, but you're gonna have to work for it, basically. And I think God does that to build character. On top of that, you get to learn along the way, which obviously learning is a very good thing for us, like for people. You should always be able to, or being able, not being able, you should always try to keep learning as we go, because there's always something to learn, something about. I can tell you that right now. So with that being said, I had them sue me, and then I had Resurgent, mind you, they sister companies. Like Resurgent is the what do you call them? LVNV is the debt buyer. Resurgent is like the one who houses the information. On top of that, they could also be a debt buyer too, because they sued me in September, and y'all crazy. But I'm just gonna give you the info on LVNV right now. So they sued me. I could not get to the courthouse because it was at an old address that I'm not at, and that is like an hour and some change away. I have 3 kids. My kids are in school. Sometimes you can spend court all you can spend all day in court sometimes, and I don't have nobody else to come pick my kids up. Like that's just what it is. I don't have it. So I wound up asking to see if it was like to see if somebody could do it. They said yeah, but then they backed out the last minute, so I couldn't go to the courthouse. I asked for a virtual appearance. The judge denied me. It is what it is. They have discretion. They can say yay or nay. So they denied me. Judgment went into default, and then they entered into judgment. So before they entered into judgment, I had filed a motion basically to stop them for on the basis of they were not they didn't have the proper credentials that my state, New Jersey, says that you have to have prior to the date that they sued me. So in my state, you have to have a surety amount of $5,000. It is on our state's website, the Treasury website. You have to have that prior to the date of, no, not even prior to the date of. You have to have that before practicing any debt collection practices in this state. But I'm just going off of myself, right? So when I looked that up, y'all, I was like, "Oh, I could get them on this. Let me see if they have this." So I had filed a motion to compel first arbitration. I mean, not arbitration. I filed a motion to compel the documents because they wasn't. I asked them, they didn't give it to me, and then they gave it to me. And when I went to go validate it, y'all, it said that they filed in February 2025, but it was not validated until July 10th. That is 7 days after they sued me, which means from February to July 10th, they were not supposed to be practicing any debt collection practices at all. Do you understand me? You know what? Now that I think about it, y'all just I'm going to file a complaint on the CFPB. Hmm. Because I already got them in court. Where I don't play. You want to come after me? Guess what? Let's rumble. So they gave me the information. I looked it up. I validated on my website. It says that the certification date was July 10th. Now, when I filed, so after the case went into default, they were able to get a default judgment before it actually entered default, because that's a whole nother step. I was like, I tried to basically tell the judge, hey, you need to stop this, because technically they were not able to. They can't practice debt collection practices in this state without this, and they didn't have it at the time that they sued me. So they shouldn't be able to get a default judgment on me if they didn't even have the requirements to. That's like not having, if I ain't got my license on me and I'm sitting here driving, aren't you going, don't the cops write people tickets? Yes, you gonna write me a ticket, and then you gonna tell me, well, you bring your paperwork or bring your license or whatever, or if my license is suspended, you're going to tell me I can't drive my car. So if that's the case when it comes to a driver's license, if you're supposed to, because I'm supposed to have this in this state, right? If you're supposed to have this in this state when it comes to being able to collect on people's debt, what makes you think I'm not going to challenge that? Now I have to go to court for it. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't just tell them that. They're going to be like looking at you like, girl, we don't care. You have to take the people to court. So when I filed that and I told them, y'all, they literally came back and was like trying to justify like, oh, the submitted date is the real date, basically trying to re-age it. Y'all, I looked up what a filing date is and a certification date is, which obviously I know what it is, but they just tried to play like that was their defense. But ultimately my motion got denied and they were able to enter a default. But here's the kicker. They have not been trying to garnish nothing. They haven't been able to try to garnish my wages. They haven't put no bank levies on my bank. They ain't been doing nothing. They have not been trying to get this money from me at all. And I believe the reason is because they know that I'm right and they know that they're wrong. But they're going to see if I do something about it. Oh yes, y'all to bet y'all match. Y'all to bet y'all match because your girl don't play. So with that being said, the judgment is just sitting there. But I'm going to check my secondary credit reporting agencies to see if it's already reporting, because baby, if it is, that's another hook. That's why I think that they're not coming after me, because let's just say I did decide to sue, which I am. If I did go ahead and sue, then like because I preserved it on the record, but if which they do, that y'all were not properly certified until 7 days after, oh baby, this is willful non-compliance, because not only were you not compliant with getting what you need for my state, you also continue to try to pursue getting this money from me when I already told you y'all were out of compliance back then. So when I tell you about that, I'm finna get on them. So that's how it went, y'all, and I left it at that. Mind you, they got this judgment in February 10th, matter of fact, to be exact. They have not tried to collect since. And again, I think they know that they have been exposed, but it's just a matter of, is she gonna do something or not? Oh, and baby, I am. I don't play. So, I've been trying to figure out how to get them, right? So I was like, okay, well, because I did file counterclaims, but because my counterclaims have not been heard, guess what? I'm going to now. I was going to take it to the federal court. Now, y'all, I do file fee waivers because I'm not putting all this money out to fight these court cases when I'm eligible for a fee waiver. On top of that, I'm not doing it when I don't have to, because y'all technically don't even be owning the debt. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to get into that. So I filed it in federal court. I forgot to attach a document, y'all, and they denied my fee waiver, therefore closing the account. Or closing the case. I'm like, okay, whatever. Now I refiled the same document, but they didn't keep it going. So I'm like, it's still closed. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm thinking, it's been a couple months. I refiled it in February. We're now in May. I don't see no traction happening. So I was like, okay, let me see what I could do. In the meantime, in between time, y'all, I've been dealing with other cases, and I have taken three. Two cases to arbitration so far. I feel more comfortable with arbitration. Arbitration is a lot more lax. I think it's a better avenue for pro se litigants, especially when you're trying to just get your feet wet and trying to figure out certain things. They have certain rules that I like for instance, anything that's under $25,000 and under, it could just all be on the papers, which just means you'll still have the whole, like, you'll have a scheduling order of what to provide, when deadlines, this, that, and the third, or set deadlines and stuff like that. But everything is just all in writing. I don't have to actually, be in front of a judge or anything like that. However, if I did need a hearing or it was over $25,000, then they would have a hearing, but the hearing is going to be over the phone or Zoom. So you still are within the comfort of your own home without having to go to a courthouse. Y'all, I'm telling you, I do everything by myself, so I cannot have my options are very limited when it comes to being at courthouses and stuff. Because when I just went for Resurgent, y'all, I was in that courthouse from 9 a.m. to 3 something. My kids get out 3:24. They get on the bus and get home around 3:50. Like if anything was to happen, I would have to have like leave the court. So it's a um it's a nuisance for me, and it's just it doesn't work for my schedule. So with arbitration, I can still have my case. Like my kids, they get dropped off in our complex or whatever. So it would even if I could not make it at that time, they know how to come up, and my daughter knows exactly what to do. That's neither here nor there. I'm saying all that to say arbitration is a lot more lax, and I feel like you get more comfortable with knowing, how to speak, what to say, and things of that nature in arbitration rather than in the courts. So because I have taken people to arbitration already, and I just feel a little bit more, comfortable with them, I was like, oh, I could take LVNV because LVNV, I never got my case heard at all because I could not make it to the court, right? So the only thing is you have to be careful because even though my counterclaims are independent of it's still connected because it's about the actual account, but it's independent to what happened. I'm not trying to get the arbitrator to reverse, or even when I was going to do the federal courts, I'm not trying to get them to reverse my the judgment, but I'm just not going to pay. So my thought process was, if I filed in federal court and I won, then whatever I won from that money would then go to the alleged debt that I owe them. So that's essentially them paying for my debt, which I'm not putting no money out. I'm not putting no money up front out when y'all don't even own it. When you start hearing about what's really good with these debts, y'all gonna really see what I'm saying. These debt collectors really don't have the authority like they do, but they know how to sue people, and people don't know what to do then, or you don't have the money to get a lawyer or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of how they still being able to operate or whatever. So anyway, but I don't run off of fear. Okay, your girl don't run off of fear, so you're not gonna run me off like that easy. I'm gonna exhaust every bit of avenue that I have until I cannot no more. You understand? Okay, so I was like, oh, I could get them, because the contract that they're relying on, that they relied on to get the judgment, is the same contract that I'm relying on to file an arbitration. So I'm going to take my claims to arbitration because it's better for me as long as it's 25,000 and under. We don't have to have a hearing because I got denied in the federal court. That's exactly what your girl is going to do. So I just filed my case on Saturday, and I'm not playing. I'm going after inaccurate reporting. I'm going after when it comes to these lawyers, they have more leverage in these courts because they know it's more strict. I have to follow certain rules that for certain rules, certain things I have to say, certain things I have to know that I don't know because I never went to law school. So I could play around all day, but at the end of the day, it's a real big possibility that I lose. And even if I go to appeal, the appeal process is what, $250 off the rip. Then you have to pay for the transcripts. It's a lot. Like, it's a lot. And I'm glad I didn't appeal the LVNV case because then I would have to go back into the courthouse. So I think I have a strategy now on what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna share it now, but I have a strategy now on what I'm gonna do going forward if I am to be sued by a debt collector. So anyway, saying that to say, but right now, I'm getting them before they get me. Before you get me into the courthouse, I'm getting you into arbitration. Let's be real. Or if you try to beat me there, guess what? Guess what? I'm going to then say that I want arbitration. I elect arbitration because one of the things about arbitration is the contract survives past the original creditors. So that means whoever picks this contract up have to abide by these rules. And they know that, and that's why they never go to arbitration. But you just got to read your clauses to kind of see what they say, to see what would be best for you. But y'all, when I tell y'all arbitration is the way to go, I promise you, it's a lot more easier. Even if you don't get what you want, it's still like you can at least get the experience out of it. But there's money in them reporting certain things to our credit reports. There's money in them not having the requirements that your state requires. There's money in a whole bunch of stuff. You just gotta be willing to fight. And baby, I'm willing to fight. You understand me? I don't play. So I just filed on Saturday. One of my claims is the fact that they did not have the requirement. They didn't have it until 7 days after. They tried to say that the certification date is not the same as, or is the same as the filing date, when we know that's wrong. On a government website, a filing date is the day that something was submitted. That does not mean that it is valid. That does not mean that the Treasury checked it. That does not mean that you got a green stamp. No, you did not get a stamp until July 10th. That was 7 days after you sued me. 7 days after you sued me, which means you should not have been trying to collect. You should not have been trying to collect at all from February all the way until July 10th. That's a very big gap. And I can guarantee you, anybody who has been sued, and listen, if I really want to get petty, I can reach out to, because you know the courts is public record. I could go in there and pull everybody from February to July of 2025 to pull out the information to show how many people they didn't filed on when they didn't have the requirements. And you know what? I might just do that. I might just spend the time to do that and then submit that to the CFPB. Because if y'all want to play with me, y'all, let's go. Let's go. And I told y'all, this is why I think they did not they're not trying to garnish any wages, because they know I have exposed them. They know I have exposed them. And the reason why I say that, because my case that I had with Resurgent, y'all, Resurgent, they're right now trying to garnish wages. Right now. I got a little trick for that too. That's neither here nor there. But that I got that judgment April 13th of 2026. It's already met. It ain't even been a whole month and they already put out a writ. Oh yeah, come on. That doesn't scare me, because guess what? You ain't gonna get nothing anyway. Let me tell you something about a thing or two about a trust, but we're not gonna talk about that, okay? So, because right now, you know, me, myself, and I look like I don't have nothing. But I'm a trustee of a trust, and I operate through that trust. And if you know, you know. Okay? So I'm not connected to nothing, baby. I'm broke. I don't got nothing. I don't have anything. So you ain't gonna find no info on me. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I give you all my accounts, all my bank accounts, all that. None of that applies to me. So anyway, that's neither here nor there, because they're not gonna get no money. So then I'm gonna with them, I tried to get them in the court. And that's when I realized I choked so bad, y'all. On top of that, the judge misapplied the statute, the New Jersey statute that I told him, which is absolutely wrong. And he did not admit none of my information, or none of my exhibits, and basically allowed them to have everything because they had a witness. But that's neither here nor there. I just sent my appeal documents yesterday for that too, because I don't play. Y'all want to file a writ? I'm gonna file my appeal. I mean, I was gonna do it anyway because it's my right. Got 45 days to do it, but it's just like, come on now, yo, these people, y'all want to play? I can play too. And the thing is, the reason why I'm so good for law, like to be a lawyer anyway, because I know how to take my emotions out of it. Like I still get upset and stuff like that. I'd be frustrated and all of that. Like I was frustrated when I lost against Resurgent, because I just did not. I knew I had them in the back when it came to that New Jersey statute, because everybody that I have challenged have been like, they haven't been wanting to give that to me. So that tells me where there's smoke, there's fire. But I could have subpoenaed, like I could have got it and subpoenaed the Treasury, but I didn't even think to do that. It was just so much. I'm not a lawyer, so you know this is not something I'm doing every day. I really just got to the show like last year. No cap. When it comes to the courts, I just got into the court stuff last year. So I'm learning as I go. And even though God is walking with me, it's still just like I didn't know all the steps. Even though I'm very diligent in my research, but it's just like I didn't know all the steps, and that's a little frustrating for me. Anyway, I say all that to say, so I filed my case with LVNV Saturday. I filed my appeal with Resurgent Saturday, but I'm not gonna get too deep into that because I can make another video for Resurgent. And I have inserted my claim of them knowing that they didn't have the proper credentials and still continue to go after me. So that's willful noncompliance. That shows very much willful, because at that point they could have stopped it. Even they could have withdrew their motion. They could have withdrew, and they did not. So because they didn't, let's go all the way now. I'm going after them for incorrect and inaccurate reporting, which is a FCRA violation. I think they checked my credit too. I would have to pull my credit reports, but I think they checked my credit too, you would have to show the permissible purpose for that. And if which now I can prove that y'all shouldn't even be practicing debt collection activities in the state. So if the date that they checked my credit was between February 2025, between February 2025 and July 10th of 2025, you can't even give me a permissible purpose as to why you checked it, because you can't even be collecting debt collection activities. Because I think when I was looking up that consumer law, it said that for permissible purpose it could be for like regular business day activities. They could try to say, oh well, we're a business, we're a debt buyer, so our business, one of our business regulations is to check people's credit, which I don't know how. I don't know why you would check somebody's credit to put it on. Like, I don't get that point. But let me just say, let's say they try to use it as an excuse. Even if they use it as an excuse, y'all wasn't supposed to be operating in the state of New Jersey. That's what I'm getting at. You weren't supposed to be operating in the state of New Jersey. So if you checked it anytime before July 10th, that's another proof. That's more proof that you never had permissible purpose. Because you can't say it was for business activities. You can't even have a business activity in my state. What you talking about? So y'all, with that being said, y'all, baby, I got them. I'm telling you, they are so exposed. They are so exposed. And I'm about to pull all of this. Oh, thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I am about to pull all of them. They got 1, 2, because all of this is public information. I'm not gonna put none of the information. I'm just gonna say they have these many cases that they were practicing in. Because guess what? When the CFPB find an issue for you, they sue you. So if you want to make it hard for me, I'm gonna make it hard for you. Point blank in the period. And I'm going for a hefty amount. So I suggest they settle. But if not, we can go all the way, because I don't care. I go all the way. I do not play when it comes to these courts or these companies. Yes, for that information alone, that's where I'm at now with LVNV. They are back in rotation. For a while they were not. And then if y'all want to know about what happened with my resurgent case, their sister company, y'all can go ahead and follow me to the next video, because I'm gonna tell y'all, or no, you can go ahead and stay tuned for the next video, because I'm gonna give y'all the ins and outs on what I did with them. If you need to get an eviction removed, I have a eviction removal ebook using consumer laws, y'all. I have a video describing more in depth of the whole process, how to do everything. I have an email that's dedicated directly to that. I also have a calendar if you guys want to reach out to me for a quick call for any kind of help, whether it's the eviction help or debt collectors, whatever, y'all. This is like I told y'all before, this channel is going to be directly for all my debt collection stuff, all my court and arbitration stuff, everything else when it comes, and all my eviction stuff. So I have all the links below for you to click. I have the email, things of that nature. You can always hit me up if you need help. And yeah, y'all might want to stay tuned for research. And if you want to hear about that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on my next video. Thank you for watching.